If you'd like to learn how to create your own rub-ons using a printer and some sticker release paper, stay tuned and I'll show you how I did it. Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lisa, and today I'm going to be playing with some images that I printed on sticker release paper. So it might be hard to see, but there is images of a bunch of birds that I printed on the sticker release paper. These are just the clean sheets that are slick because you pulled the stickers off of the back. And what I did is I ran them through my printer. I did it the normal setting that I would do for paper, and I do have an Epson 2800 inkjet. I don't think a laser jet would work. Now I've done this before where I've printed on these sheets and then immediately taken them, flipped them over, and printed them onto like a tissue paper to make the tissue paper collage things. I've also done it on doilies where I went and printed them on doilies. But today I'm going to try it a little bit different. So normally, or before when I did it, I would print them and immediately go in and wipe them off. But I have heard that this does stay wet for a while, and I can attest to that because I printed this yesterday afternoon, probably 23 hours ago, and I did smudge it this morning. See, I can smudge it off. So this ink is still wet. So this stuff stays wet for a long time. So with the project that I'm going to do, I'm going to transfer these onto other things, kind of like a rub-off transfer. But what I would say is you can't print them and store them, would be my thought, because how do you store them if they're going to rub off? So we're going to give it a shot. So I printed these birds, and I think I'm going to cut them apart to put onto cards. But I also printed this sheet of black and white numbers. Now I realized after I did that, when I go to impress these are going to be upside down and backwards. So if you're going to print anything on one of these release sheets, you got to make sure the image is reversed if you want to look at it correctly, a mirror image. And I forgot to do it on this one. The birds will be okay. They'll be facing a different direction. Get these birds out of the way. But what I think I'm going to do to salvage this is I think I'm going to try to use my tissue paper to transfer it onto here and get rid of most of it and be able to have a transfer for paper. So we're going to see how this works. And this I actually printed not even an hour ago compared to the birds, which I did almost 24 hours ago. So I'm going to put this on here, and I think I made it big enough. Okay, now I have a brayer, and I'm going to do my best to try not to get this to go too loose. Now a piece of thicker paper would probably work better. Now the reason I said I'm doing the tissue paper is because I can put this down and still use it because it is see-through. So I'm using this. Now my thought is with the birds, I'm going to cut them down into smaller pieces so they're more easy to handle. So I think this way is just a little more difficult to handle. As you can see, it is kind of sliding around, but I think it's still doing, oh, it is. Yeah, it did transfer pretty good. Now I do have some still on there. I don't think I can get rid of any more on there, but see, now I'll be able to take these, cut them out or something, glue them down, and use them as like regular, like the Tim Holtz tissue paper. I love it. That worked out good. I'm happy that I decided to do it that way. All right, let me get that to the side, and I do have one more, and I don't know, like I said, if it's going to go. I'm going to try my hands on this because I can squish it down a little bit more pressure-wise than that roller. I just didn't want it to come through too hard on my hands with the ink. You saw my last video that I did. I don't know if I have any out here right now. My reverse stencils. My hands were so inky after that. I did get them clean enough to go out for dinner, though. I have to say that. Okay, well, this seems to be working pretty good. I don't know how much it's going to transfer because, like I said, it was a second transfer. But we will see. Okay, let's give it a shot. Oh, wow, that came pretty clean. There's a little bit on there. I could probably take a baby wipe and get it off. And not too shabby. Now, obviously, it's not as dark as the first one, but from one printing, I got 2 transfers of this. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. My head's a little spinning out of things to do. I will link that kit. It's a black and white kit, and there's a lot of pages in there that have letters and a lot of grungy stuff. And I think it would be awesome to print it out and be able to do those on tissue paper and have them. All right, so what I learned from when I was doing these before, what I would do them quickly and automatically was if you cleaned it out, you could reprint on these a couple times before it kind of embedded in there and you couldn't print on it any longer. So cleaning this off and letting it dry, I will be able to use this again to print something on. Now, the ones for the birds, I'm going to cut apart, so obviously you're not going to be able to reuse those, but if I wanted to take these birds and put a whole sheet of paper down, you know, solid or whatever, like say I wanted to take this and put it on there, I could get the full transfer and then cut them out for that. But like I said, I would like to put them on specifically onto projects, and I have pulled some stuff out to see if it'll work. So I pulled out like some generic cards. I've got this coffee dyed one. I've got a scrapbook that I gessoed and put some ink on it. This is a watercolor that has watercolors. These are just regular scrapbook papers. And then I've got one of my reverse stencils. And then I've got a piece of book that I put a little gesso on. So I'm going to see how these work. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. I'm sure I got more than 8 birds, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, about 10 birds. So I actually might be able to even split this one in half and get 2 out of it if it's working good. Have a smaller one. Yeah, now I haven't tested this, so hopefully it goes well. You know how that goes. But let's give it a shot. All right, so let's start with cutting one of these out. Now this is going to be interesting because I need to. Oh, look like I smudged that bird already too. So I'm going to need to try not to touch these as I cut them. All right, so this, I rubbed the leaf off on that, but I think it'll be okay. And, all right, let's use something that I don't really mind. And you can kind of see through the paper a little bit. So I can kind of see where he's going. And we're going to put him down. Now, like I said, this was, ooh, this is slippery. This was printed yesterday. Oh, wow, it actually worked. Not too bad. Wow, not too bad at all. It actually looks kind of like a rub-on. Oh, I like it. Okay, there is a bit left. So do I try to resolve this and see if I can use some of it? Let's give it a shot. It just is really slippery. That would be my only thing. Nah, it really didn't work. Okay, once and done, which is fine with that. I don't mind that. Okay. All right, let's see if we can do another one. These are fun. It came out much darker than I even thought. Now, the video I saw where this person did it a little later, they said that if you paint some gesso on there, it makes it brighter. Now, this does have a bit of gesso on there, so that might have been making it brighter. So let's do this one because there is no gesso on there and see how it will go. I'm just trying to find one that I know is going to fit on there. And it looks like these 2 birds would fit really good. So we're going to do our best to not smudge them and cut it out. All right. Okay, let's see. Should I go that way? All right, I can see the birds, and I think I'm going to put them up higher. All right, so it seems like if you hold it in the center and then pull from the outside, inside center out, it doesn't seem to want to move it as much. That shifted a little bit. I think if you go to pull it, it's going to be a little bit more shifty. Not as good. We definitely have a little bit on there, but again, it's kind of like a rub-on. All right, let's see if we can do another one. All right, let's do that one. And I see this fun owl. Let's see if I can get the fun owl to go. So it might end up that it was going to work better with things that are not as picturesque, even though that worked really good, that didn't. But things like the numbers that are a little bit more grungy and can be distressed might be a little better to do than things that are more pictures, like birds. Like, you know what a bird looks like, and if he gets not completely put down, then you know what he looks like. I want to kind of really make sure his head is good. Oops, he shifted. Oh, see, now that one worked pretty good. There's lines in there, but that was on my printer. I had some lines come out for my printer, but that came out really cool, actually. Wow, I like it. All right. Let's see what else we got. All right, so this bird got mooshed, so we're just gonna throw him out. And let's see, this bird looks like it'd be a fun bird. It's like a blue, has a blue back. And it's kind of little. See, now that I've been doing it, this might be a little too dark for it to go. Just saying, for how it looks. So I think I might not do that one. Now that might be fun. It's got blue and brown. Let's do that. All right. Let's put your feet near the bottom. And make sure your head gets pretty good on there. I think that's probably the most important part of the bird to be okay. No, don't shift. I think it shifted, but we're still going to try. And I wonder if you laid it down, if you tried to tape it so it didn't shift down, maybe on the edges it wouldn't work, but that still turned out really cool, even though it shifted a little bit. I love it. All right, let's see. This is a fun card for my reverse stencil. So if I got a reverse stencil, let's do a kind of like a reverse printing. And that bird would be kind of fun. So, of course, he's in the middle. Really trying to make sure I put my fingers where there's nothing. All right, let's get these out of the way. You can kind of see in that blue jay, you see where the lines, my printer, I had to clean the wheels or whatever you want to call it, the feeders, it wasn't feeding very well. Okay. But I think for like a rub-on stencil, I think it's okay to do that. All right, so we're going to put you down there. And so what I'm kind of even more amazed with is, like I said, these got printed literally 23 hours, 22 hours ago. It's been quite a while. Since I printed them. Sorry, I couldn't talk while I was shifting it. I was kind of almost holding my breath that it wouldn't shift. Now that one did not come out as nice, and I think it's because it's a darker color, the darker background. With the yellow ink was kind of hard to go over it. That would be my guess, is you're better off with lighter backgrounds. See, this is why I do this stuff. To kind of show you what to do, what not to do. All right, so I do have this. And let's try this. Blue jay on a stick. I think it's a blue jay. I'm not really up on my bird, so I don't know for sure. But, okay. But yeah, I'm not sure if I finished my thought about how that these were printed almost 24 hours ago and they still transfer. Oh man, that shifted a lot. All right, we're gonna have to give it a shot. And hope it got pushed down enough. Nope. Oh well. He got ruined. I'll have to cover that with something. That's a shame. That's a shame. They can't all be winners, right? Okay, so I wanted to try this one. Because this bird is really long and tall. And all right. Let's see if we can put a little tape down. Now this is washi tape, so hopefully if it sticks at all, it will pull right off. Well, it definitely seems to want to hold it in its right spot. So that part's good. Now this card might not work because it was a bit darker with the paint. But the tape definitely helped it, I think. Yeah, I think the card was too dark for that. Didn't want to accept it. Quite a lot of color left on there. I doubt he'll transfer, but we'll give it a shot. Because the this was, I think, a watercolor paper. And it might not want to receive the printer ink as well. Not really. I mean, it probably would have been great if it was the first impression for it, but being the second, it had lost quite a bit of its ink for it. But, yeah. This is why we experiment, right? Okay, I have 2 birds left and 1 piece of paper. So let's just do, I'm going to make a pocket out of this. I'm going to turn it sideways. And we'll make a pocket out of this. So I'm going to put it in the center because then I will be able to cut off which direction I want to go. And I am going to mask it, tape it down with the washi, since that seemed to go. And that one was the owl, same paper as the owl, and I know it transferred really well. So I should be able to get a pretty good impression from this if I don't shift it and move it. This tape is awful. Just wants to rip. Okay. Now, the other thing I probably could have done, and I didn't think of it, is to put it on something a little bit softer so that there's a little bit of a squish. And since this is taped down, maybe I can get it to go. A little bit more give, kind of like when you have stamping with this, like rubber stamps, and you have a little bit of a soft surface below it to give it a little bit more push. That's beautiful. That is fun. Unfortunately, like I said, I've got those dots in there, but it looks just a little bit more like grunge. Like to cut a little bit off to make a pocket, maybe center it, or even do it as a side tuck tag. That could probably work. But I think that is very cool. Now I do have one bird left. I wasn't sure that was going to work, but that is just the regular wet wipe, and because ink is the, inkjet, it does go and move, and since that the gesso part which covered it got rid of it, and the part that was the book page turned blue, but that's okay. Got rid of the bird. I wonder if it'll do it on these, because this really didn't come out good. Not as much. I think because it's soaked in a little bit more. Interesting. That's why it's all trial and error. That one's good, that one's good, that one's good. That I can almost live with, and that I didn't do. This one I love. That one turned out great. Okay, so let's see if we can use this last bird and I can put him down here and cover that up with some sort of label or other kind of ticket or something. All right, let's put that there, and let's do the taping, because that seemed to definitely work. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this idea and are going to try to do it on your own. Now, like I said, not everybody's got printer or sticker paper, but if you do have a printer and it's an inkjet, and you don't want to go out, if you go to like Goodwill, a lot of times they'll have labels that you can get, and even if there maybe is not a label size that you like, you can always pull the labels off and print on them. You can also print on smaller, I don't know if I have any, like sheets like this. This I actually think I cut in half, but sometimes, or something like this that you've got stickers and you're using them. If you've pulled off most of them, these are the same release papers in the back, and you can go ahead and print on those too. You just have to obviously adjust your size to print on something, but those kind of sticker sheets would also work. All right. Not sure if I rubbed it enough, but we're gonna sort of. Not my favorite. I rubbed enough, but I think maybe this white gesso was on there. Maybe it was too stripey, too rough. So there was definitely some successes and some misses. So you are in between. You, regular scrapbook paper with a lighter background, definitely a success. These that had lighter scrapbook paper, now again, like I said, this was gessoed, but it's a smoother finish gesso than this is a rougher gesso. So I'm not sure if that helped in the difference, but those two came out really great. It's pretty light paper. This again with that same scrapbook paper, that came out really well. This with the darker colors, not so well. And then of course, just transferring them onto tissue paper really came out well too. So some hits, some misses, some fun. Yeah, so if you got transfer paper and a printer, I say give it a shot. Play with it. See what you can get. Yeah, I'm sure you have some stuff, some clip art, some things in your stash that you want to print out and go from there. Like I said, I will link that kit. I'll be able to track that. I should be able to track that down. Link that kit. There's some very fun pages in there for that. But that would be great to use. But again, if you want on here, reverse image. All right. Well, that is going to be it for me today. If you like the video, a thumbs up would be great. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more fun projects that I'm working on. And that's going to be it for today. So thanks so much for stopping by. And as usual, hope you all have a wonderful and creative day. Bye for now.